Welcome guys back in another video. This will be a very interesting one. This Mazda CX-5 came yesterday on a trailer. I've been on a phone call with the customer, with the owner, asked him what is going on. He said the car has oil pressure problems. As soon as you start it, the car starts to idling. The oil pressure warning light comes on the dash. However, the engine only has 47,000 miles. So let's have a look what the problem with this one is. Let's have a look at the fault code, but first let's verify the mileage. Unbelievable, 47k on the clock, and the car is having oil pressure problems. Now to the fault code, which is P0524, too low engine oil pressure. At this point we don't know how low it is. Obviously I don't want to stress the engine or start it. First I will need to verify few bits. The first thing will be check the oil level on the dipstick, and the second one I will check if I can turn the engine over by the crankshaft bolt. Let's have a look at the engine oil level. So the car was sitting on a ramp overnight. Let's see what the level or the dipstick shows. Here are the maximum, minimum, and let's try to find oil on the dipstick. It's quite a difficult task, unfortunately, and the last time I checked, I'm not aware that any engine can produce oil pressure without any engine oil inside the engine. I have checked and the engine is turning freely. So now the next step, I will drain the oil because I want to see the level. Once I've drained that, I will add whatever needs to be added to that, and then try to start the engine for a split second and see what the actual oil pressure will be. Here is what came out of it. I'm quite confident to say it is fairly enough for a pint of beer. So I filled the engine up with correct level of oil. I did started it. It only lasted for a couple of seconds. During those couple of seconds, the oil pressure was 180 kPa, which is fine, which is perfect. However, the engine started to kangarooing, and then it stalled. Then I said I may have seized the engine, but then we've checked, we can still turn the engine over by hand through the crankshaft bolt. So then we tried to start it a couple more times, and I've checked the oil pressure every time. It was still fine. However, the DPF or the differential pressure was very high. So what we suspect is that the turbo has gone. It filled up the DPF, and hence, because of the brake pressures, the engine cannot start. So now I'm going to remove the temperature sensor, which I can access from the DPF, and try to start the car that way. Probably it will be smoking a lot, maybe even spilling some oil out if the turbo is that failed. We will see. And after that I'm going to check the turbo pipes or the intake pipes going to the turbo. If someone thinks that I may have damaged the turbo, the guys or whoever recovered the car to us, they drove it onto the trailer without any oil in the engine, without checking it. So it's up to you to decide if the engine is ruined, who's done it. I may have spotted something. Have a look at the bolt or nut or whatever you call that. It looks like it is a bit chewed up, which means someone may have already been here before us. So guys, as you could see, the new Pope is being elected or chosen, however you call it. So basically, as we removed the temperature sensor, the engine could start. If we didn't rev it, it would stall, or it would run for a couple of maybe seconds or a minute, and then it would stall. So basically what happened is the DPF is fully blocked, probably by the oil, because the turbo is very, very likely gone. So the next step, I'm going to check the turbo lines, check the turbo itself. Probably it will need a new turbo, because I don't think at this mileage the car should have that bad carbon buildup inside the intake system, but you never know. That is recommended to get checked. Also, then is now checking with the camera the DPF from inside, what he can see. But anyways, we need to remove the piping to the turbo and see it for ourselves how fucked the turbo is. But before I dive into it, guys, one thing I need to mention, it will be a difficult or a tough one. The reason being is we don't know how long the car was driven with no oil or low oil, how long was this an ongoing issue, and we do not know what sort of damages that has done to the engine already. I mean the crankshaft, the bearings for the rod bearings and the main bearings. So I will need to discuss that with the owner, how we should proceed further if he wants us to check everything, which will be a piece of cake to do it, just an engine out and split it in half to do it properly, or maybe to somewhat risk it and just, if the turbo is bad, replace the turbo. Probably it will need DPF cleaning. If that does not work, DPF replacing, then see if he can use the car for any longer. I have removed the charge pipe and let's see what I can see, what I can find. Guys, that is a big puddle of oil down there in the small turbo housing. I'm not going to further check the turbine wheel because that is a swimming pool essentially. However, I'm still going to remove this PCV hose pipe to the turbo and I'm going to check the big turbine wheel for play. However, we can already confidently confirm that the turbo has officially left the chat and maybe he invited or took the DPF with himself. Let's check out the big turbine wheel. It has a slight sideways play. Should be still okay. I think it provides quite enough or lot of boost. As long as it has no horizontal play in the shaft, should be okay. It's still spinning freely though. Well, you could see what's the issue if you are not sure or still don't know what that is. Very obviously the turbo is gone. It needs a new turbo. It needs a DPF cleaning, intercooler cleaning, new air filter and oil change if that would not be obvious. On top of that, we would recommend the customer, the owner, to check the rod bearings and the main bearings. Unfortunately, it will be costly because engine out job, split in half, and the bearings has to be checked. The reason why, because we don't know for how long it was running with no oil, little oil, no oil pressure, little oil pressure. So we cannot give warranty unless all those things are checked, because the engine may have suffered damage further, what we can't see at the moment. However, the owner may be lucky and can just get away with the turbo replacement, but that will be a decision for him to make. We will tell him, explain him everything as you just guys seen in the video. If there will be a second part of it, then you will know that the customer agreed to the repairs. If not, probably he didn't agree or we are too busy to record, because this is the 4th turbo this week that we are going to replace. I mean, not this week, but 4 customers dropped off their cars for turbo replacement. I'm not even sure when this one's going to get done. So if there will be no second part, thank you guys very much for watching and see you very soon in the next video. Until then, take care and bye bye.